The X-Men comics have introduced their readers to countless powerful weapons over the years. That being said, weapons aren't exactly a new concept in comics, but then again, in the world of X-Men, they have a whole new definition. Honestly, who would have ever thought of a living weapon? So you have to agree with us when we say that weapons, be they biological or technological, have only made the stories more intriguing, throwing new challenges not only at our heroes, but also at the villains. Well, this brings us to the greatest creation of the Weapon Plus program, the overwhelmingly powerful Ultimaton, and today's video, which for obvious reasons is going to be all about him. So we hope you're ready, because we're going to be exploring Weapon XV just for you. But before we get into our explanation, we do have one very small request. If you enjoy our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Now, let's begin. Who is Ultimaton, aka Weapon 15? This near-perfect mutant killing machine, one that was classified as Weapon XV, was basically the brother of Fantomex, in case you didn't know. Created from the same clone cluster, but amplified very differently, the living weapon, otherwise known as Ultimaton, had superhuman strength, stamina, and supreme control over electromagnetic energy, which obviously meant that his electromagnetic powers were absolutely terrifying. Also, add to this that he was in possession of a very powerful suit of armor, which was strong enough to withstand almost any attack for that matter. Now, for a better understanding of this character, we'll be looking at issues 143, 144, and 145 of New X-Men by writer Grant Morrison and artist Chris Bachalo. Mind you, a lot is happening in the comics at this point, but our primary focus is going to be on Weapon 15 and everything surrounding him. Welcome to the world, issue 143 Explored. So this issue begins with an armored individual watching over the city that has its residents, both humans and machines, going about their business. The humans are also seen donning environmental suits similar to the armored individual, but of varying designs. Just one look at the world as addressed by the armored individual, and it dawns upon us readers that it is a rather bizarre setting, packed to the brim with ever-evolving machines. Anyways, the suited individual attempts to deal with his growing awareness of his place in the world, listening to the great bells of the euthanasium, welcoming the weak, the strange, and the misbred of the world to their joyful reward. Yet, a terrible voice wonders something aloud in his mind, and he questions himself, what if there is no joyful reward in the fire? Although it isn't exactly stated who this armed individual is, it's pretty much inferred that he is Weapon 15. Anyways, moving on with the storyline, we find the high-tech, self-contained research facility, otherwise known as the World, getting ambushed by agents of the Advanced Idea Mechanics who want to recover the technology that Weapon Plus has stolen from them. When Wolverine, Cyclops, and Fantomex arrive there, they're surprised to find multiple corpses of AIM soldiers. It's fitting to state that the bodies are mutilated beyond recognition. We're talking about rib cages having exploded from the inside. Of course, it doesn't take Fantomex much time to recognize the handiwork, and he mentions to Wolverine and Cyclops that the whole massacre was carried out by Weapon 15. But we don't exactly get to witness Weapon 15 in the comic panels right away. We meet a character named Lou, who was introduced earlier in the issue. Lou is an investigative reporter who had also turned up there to collect incriminating pictures as evidence against the world and expose it. Sadly, what was meant to be adventurous took a rather grisly, shocking turn when he ended up witnessing things he wasn't supposed to. We, along with the trio of Wolverine, Cyclops, and Fantomex, learn via Lou and his camera how a certain somebody emerged from the Well of Light completely unabated in spite of being shot with 30 mega tranquilizer doses, and adding to this, 5 railgun charges as well. While Lou doesn't survive to tell the trio more, they do manage to learn from a wounded AIM soldier that they encounter inside. The soldier, who's clearly in a state of shock, disbelief, and fear, tells them how he had survived hellfire and judgment, further adding that the specimen saw the outside. Comprehending the soldier's rant, Fantomex turns to the dome and regards the specimen as Super Soldier XV, Weapon 15, while questioning to what extent things have been taken. Inside the dome, Fantomex explains to the two X-Men how the concept of time is synthetic inside the world. He tells Logan that Weapon Plus didn't end their experimentations with Wolverine as Weapon 10 and Fantomex as Weapon 13. The fact that the insidious program continued with their experiments can only make one wonder how lethal the next generations, which are products of rapid evolutionary engineering, would truly be. After all, there's no denying that Weapon XV was designed and perfected to wipe out the mutant species. Anyways, Fantomex leads them through a misty region, and when the mist clears, he welcomes Wolverine and Cyclops to the soaked-in-light world. The trio enters looking for answers, and Fantomex calls out Weapon 15. Weapon 15, the most formidable of all adversaries. Issue 144, Explored. This issue is intriguing for all the right reasons. For starters, it finally features the super advanced being, and in full glory, may we add. We, as the readers, get a full view into the time-frozen landscape of the world, and it almost feels like one is literally walking through a snapshot. Fantomex informs Cyclops that inside the world, normal time is currently on pause, and with him bringing up his own escaping incident, which took place a few months before, he states that entire generations have already passed in the world. Fantomex explains that the world was built with the sole purpose of breeding and supplying artificially evolved super soldiers, with each generation bioengineered to be half man and half machine, and fed lies in the form of narcotic nano-sentinel pollen that there is nothing but infinite solid rock beyond the boundaries of the world. As for Wolverine, he's roughly able to figure out the location of Weapon XV, judging solely on the basis of the smoke and the trail of damage left behind. With him wondering aloud what got Weapon 15 so mad in the first place, Fantomex states to him that Weapon 15 saw it for what it was, a factory farm, and suddenly everything lost its meaning. Out of the blue, time starts up in the world once again, which we learn is the act of the last surviving AIM soldier, thereby giving life to everything around the mutants. After the trio is able to overpower a cybernetic monstrosity in the form of a cop car, they finally encounter the star of the issue. Weapon 15, having also been released from stasis, makes his presence known. Dressed in blue and purple armor with protruding spikes, he looks nightmarish, and with the three mutants catching his attention, he asks them if they're real. Of course, this has Wolverine telling Weapon 15 what kind of question it is, but Fantomex attempts to have a smoother conversation with him, telling him that he grew up in the world and that practically makes them neighbors. He also adds later that there is a possibility they are relatives, but Weapon 15 responds gibberish and states that now that the old rules aren't applicable, he, being the only remaining person, gets to make the new rules going forward. Weapon 15 attacks the trio, and with the trio attacking back, it's fitting to state that they fail miserably and can't even cause the slightest bit of inconvenience to Weapon 15. On the other hand, 15 regards the attacks of the mutants as puzzles that he must solve, acting more like barriers to his understanding of the world and its lies. Determined that there is more to the world and that he was born for more, Weapon 15 takes off skyward, breaking through the top of the dome and closing the world, and in turn, soaring into the sky of the real world, wordlessly surprised at the reality of it. This issue ends with Fantomex finally realizing that the nerve center of the Weapon Plus program is a space station in orbit, which is why nobody has ever been able to locate it anywhere on Earth, and Weapon 15 is seen speeding towards it. Unstoppable, indestructible, immortal, and free. Issue 145 explored. By now, it should be clear to you that Wolverine was lured by Fantomex to the world with promises of the ever-elusive secrets of his past. As past victims of the barbaric Weapon Plus program, both Wolverine and Fantomex wish to revisit their past with the sole purpose of getting a better understanding of their real identities. Now, with a formidable new foe set loose and all the more reasons to worry, the trio of Wolverine, Fantomex, and Cyclops is seen venturing into new territory, following Weapon 15 to the space station headquarters of Weapon Plus in Fantomex's living spacecraft, Eva. Since our focus is strictly on Weapon 15, let's get our attention back to him. When he reaches the space station, he's got a lot on his mind. There are answers that he's clearly looking for, and he wishes someone would tell him what to do. As he enters the orbital station, he walks past a security guard who lets him pass without saying a word, and we find him radioing to a doctor, letting him know that Weapon 15 is on his way in, exactly as planned. With Weapon 15 descending to the control room, he's greeted by the doctor, who tells his associate that Weapon 15 is just a little confused, and that war trauma can do that. The doctor continues by saying that mutants were responsible for obliterating the world where Weapon 15 was born and raised, and that Weapon 15 will soon get his revenge. Weapon 15 continues walking through the laboratory and hears the doctor inform him that the place is more like a mansion that has been prepared for him and his kind, the Super Sapiens. The doctor explains to Weapon 15 that he's part man and part machine, and that his kind was made particularly to serve as the protectors of humankind against the menace of mutants. Furthermore, when the doctor adds that Weapon 15 is part of a biological arms race and asks him if he remembers his primary function, Weapon 15 replies, destroying the mutants, almost like he's asking a question. Right after this, Cyclops, Wolverine, and Fantomex are seen arriving at the space station in Eva. Very quickly, the trio fights their way to the control room to plant the explosive charges they had brought along. The plan is pretty simple, blowing the whole place to hell and leaving without a trace. With Fantomex giving Wolverine 10 minutes to browse through the complete Weapon X database, Wolverine tells the others to go on and that he'll catch up with them later. Wolverine intends to learn everything about his past, things he can't remember, and who he was before Weapon Plus found him. Cyclops and Phantom X are seen fighting Weapon Plus agents when they learn Phantom X's living spacecraft has been captured. They arrive a little too late to save Eva, and we find it already destroyed. This, in turn, has a devastating effect on the nervous system of Phantom X, as it was co-linked with Eva. Not seeing much of an option left, Cyclops ends up carrying Phantom X through the station's complex towards the shuttle bay in order to escape from there. Back in the control room, Wolverine, who has just finished reading his file, is confronted by the hulking Weapon 15. Clearly confused, 15 is seen contemplating the purpose of his own existence. With him throwing a rather philosophical question about life at Wolverine, the latter asks him if he looks like a philosopher. This is when Weapon 15 mentions to Wolverine about a certain Dr. Sublime and how he's been told that his purpose in life is to wipe out every trace of mutant on Earth. But this also has Weapon 15 admitting that there are millions of living mutations, after which he wonders if he could have been a painter. Wolverine simply dismisses the idea of Weapon 15 being a painter, addresses him as a genocide machine instead, and activates the explosive charges that have the entire space station exploding violently, thereby destroying it once and for all. What makes Weapon 15 so lethal? We're looking at a near-perfect mutant killing machine who can use his electromagnetic powers to absorb colossal amounts of radiation and fire exceedingly powerful electrical bursts. Next is his ability to fly through the air at tremendous speed. He has superhuman strength, the upper limits of which aren't known. Then there's also his superhuman stamina, which hardly drains him of energy. From being responsible for decimating an entire squad of AIM soldiers to single-handedly fighting the combined forces of Wolverine, Cyclops, and Phantom X, Weapon 15 should be taken lightly under no condition. Marvelous verdict! Well, with that, we've finally come to the end of our video. So what are your thoughts about Ultimaton, aka Weapon 15? Do you believe that he was Weapon Plus's most powerful creation? We would honestly love to know what you feel about this living weapon. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Please leave a thumbs up and stay tuned with us as we promise to be back with more marvelous content in the future. Till next time, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.